Good day, everyone. Welcome to our panel discussion on the topic of economic development. Today, we are joined by 6 STEM panelists who will be sharing their perspective on the statement: a developed economy is not where the poorest own a car, but where the wealthiest use public transportation. We have a diverse panel of speakers today who will share their perspective on this topic. Starting with Ms. Ale Alexandra Naldo, Ms. Christine Malubay, Ms. Marinelle Pajanti, Ms. Darling Jane Magdadaro, Ms. Stephanie Magabilin, Ms. Marisol Pakit, and lastly, Mr. John Ray Paiti. Each of them brings a unique perspective to this discussion. Let's start with the panelist number 1. What is your perspectives on this topic? Please help me welcome Ms. Alexandra Naldo.
Good day, everyone. I am Alexandra A. Naldo. Today, I am going to discuss about a developed economy is not where the poorest owns a car, but where the wealthiest use public transportation. According to Gustavo Petro, a developed country is not a place where the poor have cars. It's where the rich use public transportation. An advanced city is not one where the poor can get around by a car, but one where even the rich use public transportation. Transportation is an essential activity that provides access, services, and activities, such as education, employment, shopping, and social events. The quality of transport option available affects people's ability to participate in social economic activities. Transport is essential to the efficient working of the economy, bringing together the input used in the production of goods and services and getting outputs from product process to customers. A developing economy defines a country with a low human development index, less growth, poor per capita income, and more inclined towards agriculture-based operation rather than industrializing business. A good transport system can broaden the market for goods. It can also make the movements of raw materials, fuel equipment, and etc. Further, it opens up remote regions as well as resource of production. Transportation is important because it facilitates exchange and travel. Without transportation, the different regions are isolated from each other. Improved transportation plays an important role in a country's economic growth, tourism industry, and infrastructure. Several people think that spending is necessary for improving a country's economy, whereas some argue that saving money is more beneficial. In my opinion, both factors are vital in boosting the economy. However, people should practice a sense of equality or balance per their needs and the nation. Also, higher economic growth leads to higher tax revenues, and this enables to the government can spend more on public services such as healthcare and education. This can enable higher living standards such as the increase of life expectancy, high rates of illiteracy, and great understanding of civic and political issues. Besides, generating gains from the trade integration, the rapid outward-oriented growth of developing countries will benefit industrial countries in other ways. First, it stimulates demand for industry country output. Growth in investment in developing countries boosts demand for imports of capital goods and services.
Thank you, finalist number 1. That's an excellent point. Moving on to our second finalist. What is your take on this topic?
Good day, everyone. My name is Christine Jean Malvubay. Today, I'm going to discuss about a developed economy is not where the poorest owns a car, but where the wealthiest use public transportations. A sovereign state is considered to be a developed country if it has an advanced technological infrastructure, a highly developed economy, and an overall high standard of living in comparison to others, less industrialized countries. It also shows a more developed mindset that prioritizes sustainable growth over materialistic positions, even though the impoverished can drive a nice automobile. Using a transportation system that is much superior since it is comfortable for every passenger, making it pleasant and livable for its residents, and by having sophisticated infrastructure, which is a crucial sign of a well-known country. A transportation system is a way of moving people or products from place to place. Transportation systems have inputs, processes, outputs, and feedback. For example, inputs to a city bus system includes bus drivers and fuels. Processes includes driving the bus and loading passengers. If the wealthiest use public transportations, there are a lot of reasons why they are doing so. It means the country is safe, clean, fast, convenient, and comfortable for them to use the transportation. Aside from that, it might be cheaper for them to use it. Well, we know that some of the rich are stingy, which is why they are do or use things where they can save. But all in all, fast and safe public transportation is one way I can say it is a developing country. By using a transportation which is much better because it is comfortable to all the passengers. Transportation helps people in those various locations to trade and conduct businesses with one another by moving people and things to different neighborhoods, cities, states, and countries.
Thank you, finalist number 2. That is compiling agreement. What do you think about this topic?
Good day, everyone. So a developed country is not a place where the poor have cars. It's where the rich use public transportation. So the deep meaning goes that the people should be valued for their contents or their own self and not for what they possess. And that if more people become aware of need to share their progress and inspire others, so then there will be more equality and more world and less materialism. So we cannot judge and generalize one's value scale as contract which has the ends of one need to achieve in order of one's priority. So for one, in traveling in public, traveling in public transport can be the more valued in the using car, and for another it can be using a car more valued than using public transport. So always remember, value is subjective, hence everyone is better off in the position they are in. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, finalist number 3. That's an insightful perspective. Moving on to our fourth finalist. What is your opinion on this topic?
Good day. My understanding about a developed economy is not where the poorest owns a car, but where the wealthiest use public transportation. This quote, for me, it is about equality. That a developed economy is where everybody is equal, not just in life, livelihood, but also in society. Because in our society today, we tend to degrade the poor or the unsuccessful compared to someone who is successful. Like for example, we look up to those people who has higher education, and we degrade those people who don't have the proper education. It is also the same in income. People who paid higher recognize a low earner as a loser. In this scenario, I can say that our society is biased because we only look at the wealth, the education, and the figure of a person. We did not evaluate the person's contribution and not being appreciated. As long as they are wealthy, they are special. But we look down on someone that is less compared to others, without even realizing that those poor is better compared to rich in some cases. We should understand that everyone should be treated equally because they deserve it. They deserve not just treatment but valued as well. Everyone is different and contributes in different aspects in society and economy. We should learn and evaluate everyone's differences. Thank you.
Thank you, finalist number 4. That's a crucial point to consider. Let's hear from our 5th finalist. What is your perspective on this topic?
Good day, everyone. The statement "a developed economy" is not where the poorest owns a car, but where a wealthiest use public transportation encapsulates a powerful vision of what it means to be prosperous and equitable in society. At its core, this statement recognizes that a proper economic development is not simply about increasing the availability of material goods, but rather than about creating systems and structures that benefit all society members, particularly those most vulnerable. One of the critical implications of this statement is that economic development should not be seen simply as the process of wealth accumulation for a few individuals or corporations, but rather as creating public goods and services that benefit everyone. This includes transportation infrastructure, which enables people to access jobs, education, healthcare, and other essential services. When public transportation is well developed, affordable, and accessible, it can help to reduce inequality and increase economic opportunity for everyone. At the same time, the statement recognizes that car ownership is not a reliable indicator of economic development or prosperity. While owning a car may symbolize affluence in some societies, it is not necessarily a sign of healthy or sustainable economy. The proliferation of cars and other private vehicles can contribute to various negative social and environmental impacts, from congestion and pollution to urban sprawl and climate change. By contrast, a well-designed public transportation system can offer a range of benefits, including reduced traffic congestion, improved air quality, and increased social cohesion. Ultimately, the statement suggests that economic development should be guided by a commitment to social justice and sustainability rather than narrow wealth or economic growth measures. By prioritizing public goods and services that benefit everyone and recognizing the importance of reducing inequality and protecting the environment, societies can create more equitable and sustainable economic systems that promote human flourishing. This requires a fundamental shift in our values and priorities and a willingness to invest in infrastructure and policies supporting a more just and sustainable future. Many examples of countries and cities have embraced this vision of economic development and made significant strides towards creating more sustainable and equitable transportation systems.
Thank you, finalist number 5. That's a great insight Next, let's hear from our 6 finalists. What do you think about this topic?
So good day everyone. So Gustavo Petro's saying have influenced my knowledge and thinking. So it states, a developed economy is not where the poorest own a car, but where the wealthiest use public transportations. So a developed economy has a higher level of wealth and resources accessible to its residents. So the public transportations is some projects of governments concerns for economic growth, no? So transporting of a community include the poorest individuals, make it easy and convenient where they want to travel to a certain places using public transit. So the poorest citizens, it helps them feel the wealthiest in a sense that they do not require to own a car just to travel what they want. No, so instead, public transportations bring it to the community benefits a sort of travel. So the community discounted any type of transportation, group travel as a land travel, sea travel, and air travel. So even the poorest citizens were able to take public transportations. So it's a huge opportunity to benefit from this sort of public transportation, no? So which has significant influence on travel. So particularly for the poorest member of our society. So therefore, it's a good sense that just to ride and make transportation simple and convenient.
Thank you, finalist number 6. That's a great insight. Now, let's hear from our 7 and the final finalists. What do you think about this topic?
Good day everyone. According to Gustavo Petro, a developed country is not a place where the poor have cars. It's where the rich use public transportation. This quote has been gaining traction recently and with a good reason. Developed countries are focusing more on sustainability, whereas the use of the public transportation brings the environmental and economical benefits by enhancing the energy efficiency. It is distinguished by the low ownership of personal automobiles and the highest rate of the public transportation used in Colombia. It is the city which over the half of all the households do not own a car. A large part of this disadvantage comes from the complex public transportation network, including the largest system in the world as measured the station and track. So, it is the easiest and the fastest way to get around the city. It is an inexpensive, environmental friendly, and a great way to see sights throughout the cities. It is the way of 2 public mass transit in the world that operates 24 hours a day and 7 days a week. So, there are 4 to 5 transportation of the public transportation that even the rich can use. First is the subways, second is the bus, third is a tram, and fourth is a ferry. And fifth and the last is a bicycle. So it is distinguished that even though a developed countries use, or the wealthiest countries or the wealthiest people use public transportations, for them to less consume or less expensive for their money, for them to grow and more and to develop their country more. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for insightful views on this topic. It's clear that there are different opinions on what constitutes a developed economy, but it's essential to ensure that transportation is sustainable, equitable for everyone. Thank you for joining to us tonight. Thank you and God bless.